Hello, beautiful people. It's been a minute since my last update. As you can see, things have been going well. So a lot has definitely happened since my last update, and you know how people usually have ups and downs? Well, what I've been experiencing is mostly downs. And LARPing. A lot of LARPing. I've got a pretty bad case of the war blues. So the last few months I've been watching, recording, waiting for this part of the story to come to an end, and there's a lot to unpack, so just sit back, relax, maybe grab yourself a snack, and let's tell the story of the aptly named Last Legion. If you missed the first two videos of this series, definitely pause this video and check them out because you're going to be missing a lot of context. But basically, I started warring on Pangea for no reason, and it's been a fun but pretty messy journey so far. I guess we're just gonna pick this up where we left off. I've done a bad thing. A very, very bad, inexcusable thing. You know if you've seen the other videos that I'm trying to say yes to new experiences, even if that means doing some things that I'd rather not do. The other war companies I was in either left the server or disbanded for lack of a better word. So when the governor of the Last Legion said he wanted to go yellow, I did the unthinkable and I swapped factions. And guess what? I hate it here. Let me be clear, not the company, the faction. Honestly, damn me and my New World Yes era. When I first started playing New World, I talked to all the faction vendors, I did the recruitment quests up until the point of joining, I read the lore, and I decided to be purple till I died because the other factions are, I'm sorry, kinda whack. The yellows, lore-wise, are scary religious fanatics, and the greens are just like meatheads. All muscles, no brain cells type. The purples were intellectuals, and I thought that was kinda cool. Also, their enclave is very pretty. Pretty rocks is gonna get me every time. What can I say? I'm just a girl. So, ever since then, no matter what, whenever I made a new character, I went purple, and Pangea was no different. But then I got asked to go against my better judgment, and believe it or not, that was kind of the beginning of the end. Now, not everything was bad right away. I'm in a bit of a Debbie Downer, but we had some legitimately good wins right after the whole A Squad mess. They were mostly against like Z tier war companies and we were like an X tier, but what I'm saying is when it was a battle of armies on more or less the same level, we had some really fun wars. And that's fine. I was not trying to make war part-time jobs, so as long as the wars were competitive, I was happy to be in them no matter what. I've only been warring for about half a year and I'm already over logging in for a 30-minute war camp AFK defense, or a minute attack war where there's no enemy, or a 3-minute defense war against a much better company. It's just not fun when it's so one-sided. 3 minutes really isn't enough time to have fun, guys. When war is good, it's really good. And when war is bad, it is so very, very bad. War is honestly some of the most fun content I've experienced in New World since launch, and at the same time, it's also been some of the most boring content in the game. Competition makes war fun. If there's no competition, you're just LARPing. And we did a lot of LARPing. When I last left the story, Opposition was the new company in town running the server, basically having their way with everyone. But there was still space for competitive wars between learning companies, because there was really only one army that was substantially better than everyone else. After we switched to yellow, we were able to take some territories and even defend some in good, hard-fought battles. And we didn't have to worry about Oppo because we were now in the same faction. But then they announced server merges and everything just kind of went downhill. We were just kind of chilling, and I honestly think that complacency got the better of us. Instead of continuing to improve, we just kind of stayed the same and in some ways got worse. I know I definitely feel like I wasn't improving because I wasn't being challenged. Some pretty good companies joined Pangea, and the war scene got real competitive real fast, and we could not keep up. Companies like Ballers and Mute, and others, they were pretty experienced and well run. Some of the companies who were native to the server actually ended up stepping up their game and got better when those companies joined. Unknown Trainers got better, even Embers of Ash got better. And the Last Legion? Well, you know how there's always one company that declares war and you know it's a free one? Like you're not even scared to lose your territory at all? That's what Last Legion became in the server. I hate to say it, but it's true. No one was worried about Last Last Legion Wars. You're probably wondering what happened, and it's honestly a lot of things. It wasn't just one person or one thing. In general, a lot of people have been taking a break from New World, and some of the more experienced members in the company decided to take a forever break from the game, and I don't blame them. Content with longevity or real staying power, good enough to boost engagement long term, has only just been trickling into the game. The Hive of Gorgons was a great addition to the game, but by the time you've run it about 50 times, it has definitely lost a lot of that wow factor. Anyways, people stopped playing the game. A lot of the people who stayed and remained in the company were more inexperienced, myself included, and a lot of the new recruits were even more inexperienced, so in some ways it was a case of the blind leading the blind. We had people with not quite enough experience trying to help people with no experience, and that allows for a lot of holes and cracks in the system. It also meant that not everyone was on the same page, which led to some miscommunication, confusion, mixed signals, and just in general, some bad advice. Now, I do want to bring up that there were also some pretty funny but also questionable maneuvers called for in wars. I've clipped 2 of my favorite "what are we doing here" moments to share with you. The first clip comes from one of our 30-minute attack wars. I tried to use shorter wars for this video, but most of my VODs are about 30 minutes long. It got to a point where we just kept attacking over and over again with the same outcome. Anyways, back to this clip. We were doing what we do best, running out and dying. We were just not getting any traction at either B or C point, so the call was made to gather inside of the war camp tent and wait. And then wait some more. I think what we were trying to do was regroup, get everyone together, and zerg the point to see if it helped. And I mean, when things aren't working out, changing up the strategy drastically is a good call. But this didn't help at all. We finally all ran out like a ragtag underdog army taking on an empire, just fully LARPing. It was, as you can imagine, unsuccessful. I've never seen that tactic before. It was definitely unique and very memorable. I personally think that what would have benefited the company more than just continuing to attack over and over again would be to take a break from wars and have more teaching sessions for both the macro and the micro level. With some good guidance, things could have gone in a very different direction. From what I could tell, the army wasn't hopeless, it just needed some help. The second, and my personal favorite, was the call to run behind the fort in an attack war, gather together once again, and run out in a big mass. If you can't see them, they can't see you, right? It's the same strategy, different execution, same end result. As you can imagine, the group comms during this were pretty hilarious, but I cannot share them with you. That's one thing that was great about the Last Legion. I really did enjoy my group dynamic. Even though some people switched in and out, the core of us got really comfortable with each other and started to really work together as a cohesive unit. I even made a friend. It was nice, it was fun. We played a bit more aggressively than most of the army, and it was a nice challenge when we could get out there and get into it. Unfortunately, a lot of times we were just surrounded and outnumbered because other groups were often not where they were supposed to be, or maybe dying a little too fast. But we tried our best, and for a while, that was good enough for me. The wars we were in might not have been high quality, but a lot of the people in the company were. And that's why I stayed so long. They were really nice people. Taco, if you're watching, I'm sorry you joined the group when I was on my way out. You're doing great, and I wish we could have run more together. And Skunk, you know you're a real one. So, I'm sure you could tell, but I'm no longer in Last Legion. I am down to struggle and learn and dig our way out of the trenches, but I didn't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and nothing was changing. We got into a cycle of declaring war, getting walked like a dog for 30 minutes, not making any changes, and then doing it all over again. By the time I left, I didn't even want to log into New World anymore. I was just kind of over it, which is a little sad. War had become something that I looked forward to and was keeping me very interested in the game. I was having a blast, and now suddenly I didn't even want to open it. I wanted things to change, I wanted it to get better, that's why I stuck around as long as I did, but it just never got there. Last Legion still exists, and I don't know what the future holds for them, but I do wish them nothing but the best. I honestly hope that they're able to grow and become a serious contender in the Pangea war scene, but it's definitely going to be hard with even more competition on the way. And for now, this is the end of my war journey. I'm homeless on Pangea, and that's okay. This was all an experiment in saying yes to new experiences, and overall, I had a lot of fun. I'm not sure if this story is going to continue, I guess we'll see, but for the foreseeable future, this is it. I was a little sad to leave, but I had to go. It is definitely bittersweet to say the least. I joined a war company, I learned how to war, I got better as a healer, I experienced extreme highs and extreme lows, all within the span of only about 6 or 7 months if you only count the time that I was actively warring. I went from being in a new player learning company to being in a company that dominated the server to a company that had a hard time standing on its own 2 feet. I would definitely say that I've been able to experience war in all of its different aspects. And I'm also glad that I got to share my story with you because a lot of people don't get to experience war. War can be good, it can be bad, it can be very, very ugly, but it's so, so fun. And that for now is it, friends. You've been here for my entire war journey, so thank you for listening to my story. I kind of hope it continues, but who knows where the wind will blow me next. I'm just going to keep rolling with it and staying open-minded. If you see the bearded lady around Pangea, say hi sometime. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, but most importantly, be kind to one another. See you next time, friends.